Could a small 20 centavo coin from 1980 really be worth more than $90,000? It sounds unbelievable, but a few rare mint errors have turned these ordinary Mexican coins into highly valuable collectibles sought by numismatists around the world. The first coin in this video is the 1980 Mexican 20 centavo error coin, a fascinating collectible that has reached values between $30,450 and $90,650, depending on the type of mint error, rarity, and overall condition. At first glance, the 1980 Mexican 20 centavo looks like an ordinary circulation coin. Millions were produced and used throughout Mexico during a busy period of economic activity. These coins pass through markets, buses, restaurants, and local stores every day. Most examples remain common today, but a very small number left the mint with unusual production mistakes that have made them highly desirable among collectors. The coin was struck by the Casa de Moneda de Mexico, one of the oldest operating mints in the world. For centuries, this historic institution has produced Mexico's official coinage and preserved a rich numismatic tradition. The obverse of the coin features Mexico's famous national coat of arms. The design shows a golden eagle standing on a cactus while holding a snake in its beak and talon. This iconic image comes from an ancient Aztec legend and remains one of the most recognized symbols of Mexico. The reverse displays the denomination of 20 centavos, the date 1980, and decorative elements characteristic of that era of Mexican coinage. While the design itself is attractive, collectors are especially interested in examples that display unusual minting errors. A standard 1980 Mexican 20 centavo was manufactured according to strict specifications involving weight, diameter, thickness, and metal composition. Collectors often compare a coin's actual measurements with official standards because any unusual difference may indicate that something unexpected occurred during production. Every coin begins as a blank metal disc called a planchet. These blanks are carefully prepared before entering powerful coining presses. Inside the press, engraved steel dies strike the planchet under tremendous pressure, permanently transferring the design onto both sides of the coin. Although the process is highly automated, occasional mechanical problems can create rare and valuable errors. One of the most dramatic errors collectors search for is the off-center strike. This happens when the planchet is not perfectly aligned between the dies before striking. As a result, only part of the design appears on the finished coin while a blank crescent-shaped area remains along one side. Collectors especially value examples where the date and denomination remain visible because the coin can still be identified while clearly displaying a major minting mistake. Another highly collectible variety is the doubled die error. Unlike many striking errors, this mistake originates during the creation of the die itself. If the die receives a slightly misaligned impression during manufacturing, portions of the lettering or design become doubled on every coin struck from that die. Collectors carefully inspect the date, inscriptions, and decorative details for signs of clear separation. Strong doubled die examples are especially desirable because the doubling can often be seen without advanced equipment. Die cracks are another fascinating category of mint errors. Coining dies strike thousands of planchets every day under tremendous pressure. Eventually, tiny fractures may begin forming inside the hardened steel. When metal flows into those cracks during striking, raised lines appear on the finished coin. Some die cracks are short and subtle, while others extend dramatically across large portions of the design. Collectors appreciate these errors because they reveal the tremendous stress placed on minting equipment. Grease strike errors are also encountered on Mexican coinage. Sometimes grease, oil, or debris fills recessed portions of the die. When that happens, certain details fail to transfer completely onto the coin. Letters may appear weak, numbers can seem incomplete, and decorative elements may look faded or partially missing. These unusual characteristics often attract collectors who specialize in mint errors. Clipped planchet errors are another favorite among numismatists. Before striking occurs, circular planchets are punched from large sheets of metal. If the punching machine overlaps a previous cut, part of the blank may already be missing before it reaches the coining press. The finished coin displays a curved section missing from its edge. Because the clip existed before striking, the design naturally follows the unusual shape of the blank. Broad strike errors are also highly collectible. Normally, a retaining collar surrounds the planchet during striking and helps create the raised rim. If the collar fails or is missing, the metal spreads outward beyond its intended size. The finished coin appears larger than normal and often lacks a properly formed edge. Collectors enjoy these errors because they significantly alter the coin's appearance. Among the rarest discoveries are wrong planchet errors. These occur when a 20 centavo design is accidentally struck onto a blank intended for another denomination. The resulting coin may display unusual weight, thickness, diameter, or color. Because several production mistakes must occur at the same time, wrong planchet errors are considered exceptionally rare. Collectors often view them as some of the most exciting discoveries in modern numismatics. Another fascinating error category is the die clash. This occurs when the dies strike one another without a planchet positioned between them. The impact transfers faint portions of one design onto the opposing die. Later coins struck by those dies may display unexpected design elements in unusual places. These errors provide collectors with valuable insight into what happened inside the mint during production. Condition plays an equally important role in determining value. Most 1980 Mexican 20 centavo coins circulated extensively for years and developed scratches, contact marks, worn details, and discoloration. However, examples that retain sharp details, attractive surfaces, and original mint luster are significantly more desirable. When exceptional preservation is combined with a rare mint error, values can rise dramatically. Professional grading services authenticate these coins and verify that the unusual characteristics were created during the minting process rather than through later damage. Experts carefully examine every detail, identify the specific error, and assign a numerical grade based on the coin's condition. Certified examples generally command stronger prices because collectors trust professional authentication. Over the years, certain 1980 Mexican 20 centavo error coins have achieved impressive prices in the collector market. Depending on the rarity of the error, appeal, and overall preservation, examples have sold for amounts ranging between $30,450 and $90,650. That may sound incredible for a coin with such a small face value, but collectors are not paying for 20 centavos. They are paying for rarity, history, and a unique minting mistake that escaped quality control before entering circulation. The 1980 Mexican 20 centavo proves that extraordinary treasures can sometimes be hidden inside ordinary-looking coins. One overlooked piece tucked away in an old collection, coin album, or forgotten box could be worth far more than anyone ever expected. What if a single Mexican 20 peso coin from 1980 could be worth more than $81,000 today? While most people see it as ordinary old currency, a few rare error coins have become extraordinary treasures that collectors are willing to pay a fortune to own. The second coin in this video is the 1980 Mexican 20 peso error coin, a remarkable collectible that has reached values between $26,500 and $81,120, depending on the type of mint error, rarity, and overall condition. The 1980 Mexican 20 peso circulated during an important period in Mexico's monetary history. It was used in everyday commerce, passing through markets, grocery stores, banks, and public transportation. Millions of these coins entered circulation, making them very common at the time. Today, most examples still carry only modest collector value. However, a small number were struck with unusual minting errors, and those rare pieces have become highly sought after by collectors around the world. The coin was produced by the Casa de Moneda de Mexico, the oldest mint in the Americas. Founded in the 16th century, the mint has earned an international reputation for producing Mexico's official coinage while preserving centuries of numismatic tradition. The obverse of the coin features the national coat of arms of Mexico. It depicts the famous golden eagle standing on a prickly pear cactus while holding a snake in its beak and talon. This iconic image is based on an ancient Aztec legend and remains one of Mexico's most recognizable national symbols. The reverse displays the denomination of 20 pesos, the date 1980, and decorative elements that were characteristic of Mexican coin designs from that period. While the artwork itself is attractive, collectors focus primarily on coins that display genuine minting errors rather than post-mint damage. Each 1980 Mexican 20 peso was manufactured according to precise specifications involving weight, diameter, thickness, and metal composition. Collectors often compare these measurements with official mint standards because any unexpected difference may indicate the presence of a valuable production error. Every coin begins as a smooth metal blank known as a planchet. These blanks are carefully prepared before being fed into high-speed coining presses. Inside the press, engraved steel dies strike the planchet under tremendous pressure, permanently transferring the design onto both sides of the coin. Although the minting process is extremely precise, occasional mechanical problems can create fascinating errors that escape quality control. One of the most dramatic errors collectors search for is the off-center strike. This occurs when the planchet is not correctly positioned between the dies. As a result, only part of the design is transferred onto the finished coin while a blank crescent-shaped section remains along one edge. Collectors especially value examples where the date and denomination remain visible because the coin can still be identified while displaying a major minting mistake. Another highly collectible variety is the doubled die error. Unlike many striking errors, this mistake originates during the manufacturing of the die itself. If the die receives a slightly misaligned impression during production, portions of the lettering, numbers, or decorative elements appear doubled on every coin struck from that die. Collectors carefully inspect the date, inscriptions, and design details under magnification for evidence of clear doubling. Strong doubled die examples are especially desirable because the error is often visible without specialized equipment. Die cracks are another fascinating category of mint errors. The steel dies used to strike coins endure tremendous pressure every day. After thousands of strikes, tiny fractures can begin forming inside the hardened steel. When metal flows into these fractures during striking, raised lines appear on the finished coin. Some die cracks are short and subtle, while others stretch dramatically across major parts of the design. Collectors appreciate these errors because they provide visible evidence of the stress experienced by minting equipment. Grease strike errors also appear from time to time. Grease, oil, or debris can accumulate inside recessed portions of the die. When this happens, parts of the design fail to transfer completely onto the coin. Letters may appear weak, numbers may seem incomplete, and decorative details can look faded or partially missing. These unusual characteristics are especially attractive to collectors who specialize in production errors. Another popular category is the clipped planchet error. Before striking occurs, circular planchets are punched from large sheets of metal. If the punching process overlaps a previous cut, part of the blank may already be missing before it enters the coining press. The finished coin displays a curved section missing from its edge while the design naturally follows the altered shape of the blank. Broad strike errors are equally fascinating. Normally, a retaining collar surrounds the planchet during striking and creates the raised rim. If the collar fails or is absent, the metal spreads beyond its intended dimensions. The finished coin appears wider than normal and often lacks a fully formed rim. Because these errors significantly change the coin's appearance, they remain favorites among collectors. Among the rarest discoveries are wrong planchet errors. These occur when a 20 peso design is accidentally struck onto a blank intended for another denomination. The resulting coin may display an unusual weight, different diameter, unexpected thickness, or even a different color. Since several production mistakes must occur simultaneously, wrong planchet errors are considered exceptionally rare and often command impressive prices. Another fascinating variety is the die clash error. This occurs when the dies strike one another without a planchet between them. The impact leaves faint impressions from one die on the other. Later coins struck by those dies may display unexpected design elements in unusual locations. Collectors value these errors because they offer a glimpse into the minting process itself. Condition has a tremendous influence on value. Most 1980 Mexican 20 peso coins circulated heavily for years and accumulated scratches, contact marks, worn surfaces, and discoloration. However, examples with sharp details, attractive original luster, and minimal wear are significantly more desirable. When exceptional preservation is combined with a rare mint error, values can increase dramatically. Professional grading services authenticate these coins and determine whether the unusual characteristics resulted from the minting process rather than later damage. Experts carefully inspect every detail, identify the specific error, and assign a numerical grade based on preservation. certified examples generally command stronger prices because collectors have confidence in professional authentication. Over the years, certain 1980 Mexican 20 peso error coins have achieved remarkable prices in the collector market. Depending on the rarity of the error, visual appeal, and overall condition, examples have sold for amounts ranging from $26,500 to $81,120. While it may seem unbelievable that an old circulation coin could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, collectors are not paying for its face value. They are paying for rarity, history, outstanding preservation, and a unique minting mistake that escaped inspection before the coin entered circulation. The 1980 Mexican 20 peso proves that extraordinary treasures can still be hiding in ordinary collections. One forgotten coin stored in an old album, drawer, or family keepsake could turn out to be a remarkable discovery worth far more than anyone ever imagined.